The recent turn of events dealing with the virus, many college students like myself are having to transition into completely online courses. I know for many students, they have never taken online courses before, and that can be a whole new ball field and definitely can be tricky to navigate when you're unfamiliar with something. I know when I'm at home, I always feel unproductive and unmotivated, and I just want to sit in bed and watch Netflix and not want to do schoolwork, but with online school, it definitely has been a challenge. I want to share with you today some of my tips and tricks on how I transitioned into taking online classes. My first tip is to create a morning routine. A morning routine creates some sort of consistency and normalcy in your life. I definitely like a slower morning when I wake up. I don't want to immediately go into work, and I sort of dread getting into work if I were to wake up and immediately start. So that is why I sort of create a routine that I go through the steps, and it slowly gets me into the working mood. For me, I think whatever I do in the morning kind of sets the tone for my day. So I like to do certain things in the morning that really I enjoy. When I create a routine, this is what it sort of looks like. First, I set an alarm the night before, and I also get to sleep. So setting an alarm is great because I feel like when I set an alarm, my body's like, okay, Rachel, this is when you need to go to bed. And you got to be up in a couple hours to, do your thing. So that makes me more motivated to go to bed. And then getting sleep is also good because then your body can rest, recharge, and you'll be ready for the next day. Also then, get out of bed. Getting out of bed is so important. I know that's the hard part. You just want to sort of stay in bed and not do anything, but working from bed never works because you're more inclined to be distracted, say you want to watch Netflix, or even just go back to sleep. Let's be real here. Also, making your bed makes it harder for you to climb back in. So once you make it, you're not gonna go back. Lastly, when I do my morning, I like to get dressed and get ready for the day. So I will change out of my pajamas and I will do my morning routine. So I'll get up, change my clothes, go to the bathroom and do whatever I need to do in there. I'm also more productive when I change my clothes. If I'm just in my pajamas, my brain is like, oh, it's time for bed or time for a nap or something like that. So I definitely recommend changing your clothes. Tip number 2 is to actually plan and schedule out your days. When I transitioned to online classes, I found that actually going through and picking days that I'm actually going to work on certain classes or certain assignments helped me to not get so overwhelmed. Visualizing what your day is going to look like is key.
Planning out things helps me to keep myself sane and not let all my days blur together. I highly recommend using a color coding system such as pens to distinguish each class. So I have taken a different color for each class and written down all my assignments. I also have a digital iCalendar on my MacBook that I use to keep things straight as well. I highly recommend both, and as you can see, you can easily change things in there and everything is written down on the calendar. I also believe it's highly important that you go through and look on whatever your school's website is and write down when you're going to have exams, due dates, or other assignments so that you can keep track of them and not forget about that. It's also important to have a physical copy of a planner so you can write things down and also do to-do lists.
Tip number 3 is for when you're actually working. Personally, I found that my phone is the biggest distraction that I could have in my working environment. When I get a notification from social media or even an email, I'm probably going to pick up my phone and look at it. So to solve that, I personally found that taking and powering off my phone, putting it in another room, or even putting it on Do Not Disturb is the best way to go. I also am distracted by listening to music, so music with words or pop music or rap music I definitely can't listen to. I found that coffee jazz music on YouTube or just even putting into YouTube study music is the best way to go. My other tip is to Also communicate with your professors. You're obviously not going to see them in person, so if you need to ask them something, just ask. And lastly, it's important to take breaks. So I don't know about you, but I personally cannot go hours and hours on end studying. That just doesn't work. My fourth and final tip is to set boundaries with your work. Setting boundaries with your work is probably one of the most crucial things that I have learned when working online and at home. By doing self-care and ending work at a specific time, I know I'm setting a healthy boundary with my work. Doing self-care is so important, and it can be about anything, and really it's about taking care of yourself. I personally like to watch YouTube and Netflix and do other things that I need to get done. You can do things that maybe you didn't have time during the semester, or take up a new hobby while we're all social distancing. Also, having an end time that's sort of a designated time during the day. So say you start work at 1 and you end at 5. That is your end time. I like to do this because if I don't, then I'm just going to be doing more work and I sort of get overwhelmed, and then I get burnt out, and then I don't want to do work at all, and that's not good. While transitioning into online classes may be a little bit rocky, I hope that you were able to learn some tips today that you can implement into your own routine and find something that works for you. Thanks for watching.